As usual, we'll start with a small prayer. Gently close your eyes. Keep your head, neck, back erect. Collapse your shoulders well, keeping the spine completely erect. Be aware of your entire body, from the top to the bottom. How you are grounded to the earth. Slowly shift focus to the center of your heart, not the physiological one, but to the center of your heart. Feel the presence of silence there, where there is no thought, no emotion. You're just being there. Getting integrated with that being and the sense of being. Slowly chant Omkar, Om, 3 times with me. Inhale slowly. Om. 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 Merging into deeper silence. Just listen to the shloka, the dhyana shloka. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudramarutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa Pashyanti yam yoginaha Yasyam tam navidussura suragana Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Rub your both palms, generate heat. Apply it onto eyes, cheeks, front and back of your neck. And with a few blinks, you shall open your eyes into your palms. You look at the ground and gently you can look up. Am I audible enough? Yeah. Okay. So we are going for the next shloka 2.7. It's supposed to be the most sacred, most momentous shloka. Again, I would be taking much time in explicating this particular shloka. But before that, a small recap for the new members in the family. So it is a struggle, a mental struggle that Arjuna is experiencing inside his mind. The trouble that whether he has to fight and earn the kingdom at the cost of so many millions of lives, and the sin of taking their lives in his hands, or just walk away, from this battle. So he is in the state of complete confusion, and honestly, he is deliberating that state of confusion. He does not know what is right to do. He does not understand what thing has to be done at this particular moment. And he thinks renunciation is better than fighting. Definitely, Indic culture talks about sannyasa, renunciation, as the highest path, the ultimate path for salvation. Yet, escaping from the duties and then calling it to be renunciation is sheer ignorance. So that's what Arjuna is into. And hence, he's asking questions. He's saying, oh, my friend, you're not just a charioteer here. You have not just guided me all throughout my life. You've not just been a friend of good old pastimes. We have been sharing with each other, but you are the God, the Almighty Himself, because you're much more matured. Your intelligence, your intellect is much more stable. So I implore you, I beg you earnestly, that what should be done and what is the right course of action. No? That's what he is saying. So 2.7. It is a bit tricky. Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha. Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha. Pritchami tvam dharma samudhachetaha. Pritchami tvam dharma samudhachetaha. Yashreyasasyanishchitam bruhi tanme. Yashreyasyanishchitam bruhi tanme. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. It's a classical shloka. Lots and lots of conversations, lots and lots of commentaries have been wrote upon this particular shloka. Here we see three different words: karpanya, prapanna, shadhi. Shadhi means anushasana. So three different words have to be understood. Contextually understood. Has to be understood with its esoteric importance. Why? Because these three words are considered more sacred and more prominent even in the Shastras, even in the Vedic literature. So he is first saying, look at me. My mind has become feeble. My mind has become fickle. Today I was talking to a participant who again had the similar condition of whether done was right or wrong, or what to do, the guilt of carrying, all those things. Hence, the mind is fickle. It's always in the rat. It's always racing with the thoughts, whether it was right or it was wrong. If wrong, then I'm carrying the load. Whether it was right, then why am I still struggling? All these paraphernalia, it is the mental action. action of the mind. And this super speeding thoughts that we have got in the mental structure is supposed to be feeble in nature. Karpanya. Kripanaha iti karpanyam. One who is feeble-minded is Kripana. And Arjuna accepts himself as, I am feeble-minded, I am fickle-minded. Hatasvabhavaha. My God, I have lost my own nature. What was his nature? Oh, how would a warrior be? Fierce, strong, valiant. The one who could withstand everything. In fact, everybody here is a warrior, right? We have withstood our own struggles, our own miseries, our own troubles, and that's how we are sitting here. That's how we have shaped ourselves. But he is able to understand that at this particular situation, I have lost my own very nature of being strong, powerful, and have become faint-hearted and have become fickle-minded. Prichami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha. I'm asking you, I'm begging you. Arjuna is begging Krishna. Why? When do we beg? We beg when we have nothing in our hands. And when we see some person rich, then we beg. So Krishna is rich, is enriched with his potentials of being very, very strong, even in adverse situations. Yeah. No matter what, even when he was 12, he could identify that his parents were no more his parents. There is some other kingdom that he belonged to, some other parents that he belonged to. No? He had different set of parents. He was unshaken by the truth. He is very stable. That potential of stability he wanted. Hence, he is asking, begging. Prichamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha. I do not know what is dharma here. Here comes another word, dharma. Classically, when we understand this word dharma, to the Hindi speakers, it is always religion. It is not so. Dharma in Sanskrit means righteousness. What is right to be done? This is again a superficial meaning of dharma. What is dharma essentially? Dharma is the core essence, the swabhav, the swarupa of one own self. What is swarupa? Swarupa means one's own essential existence. So I was talking to this participant. One's own essential existence is nothing but being peaceful. सुकून से बड़ा क्या है? What is more wanted, needed in life than being peaceful? You tell me. With all the luxuries that we have got, with all the accomplishments that we always want to, what is that end product that we want? Being peaceful, right? Being peaceful. That itself is lost. Then we have the questions. Okay, perhaps accomplishing the accomplishments is not the way. Going about, taking about all the pleasures of life is not the way. There's some other way. What is the different way to recognize this existential peace of ours? So to go about with dharma itself is a great dawn of recognition. How to go about dharma, how to be with my swarupa, how to be peaceful. Nobody asks these questions. No, nobody asks these questions. Everybody likes the book, the bestsellers, huh? How to be successful. Hmm? Who means more money? The monk who stole the Ferrari. That is what we are interested in. Very few people ask the questions. What is the way to make me more peaceful? But Arjuna was. Arjuna is, though human, he is Narottama. He is one top notch of humans. Hence, amongst being clouded of the thoughts and frustrated, he knows what is to be done. Yes shreyasya nishchitam buruhi tanme. You need to instruct me. Oh Krishna, you need to tell me what is the most righteous thing. There is this word Shreya that we see here. It is again a terminology that we see in Kathopanishad. There are two terminologies at Kathopanishad, one of the 10 major Upanishads, most studied Upanishad, Kathopanishad, talks about. The two concepts that it talks about are Shreyas and Preyas. Let me deconstruct it with a small example. I hate winters, you all know, and I get sick. The most affected thing is my throat because teaching is my profession and I talk a lot. So Aurelia, when I went to her place, gifted me this propolis. Okay. The medicine called propolis. Highly unconsumable product. Highly unconsumable, highly undelectable product that I've ever had. When I sprayed this propolis, my God, that sense of bitterness that goes and then scars my tissues of the throat. And then slowly after 5 minutes, I get to speak better. I get to chant better. My diction becomes very, very specific, clear. So in life, there are things which seems to be pleasant, which seems to be unpleasant, but is very beneficial for you, like this propolis. And this is called Shreyas. There are things in life which seems to be totally pleasant, totally close to your heart, attractive, gives you all the boom of pleasures. And then in due course of time, you start to hate it from the bottom of your heart. You start to think, oh my God, what a decision that I've taken. Like our consorts, our life partners. So that is prayers. Correct? So Shreyas and prayers. Now Arjuna is understanding because he is a scholar. He is an erudite scholar. No doubt about it. He understands this thing. Now he has this idea of running away from the battle because he thinks he's so matured, he's so, right and specific in valuing, in judging all his decisions, And then slowly he identified, no, I'm feeble-minded, my God. Karpanya has struck me. My mind had made me feeble. Hence, he knows the way to look up to the Almighty. I become the instrument, you instruct me. What? What do you instruct? That which is unpleasant for me. That which is propolis for me. Yet much beneficial for me. You need to instruct Shreyas for me. Why? Why so? Why should I instruct? Why should Krishna instruct Shreyas to him? Unpleasant things, though beneficial. Because he gives the answer. I'm not your friend. I'm not your friend anymore. I'm not the one who had been a good company to your life, who had been your nephew. No, I'm not that. You think I'm the king and you're my charioteer. No, I'm not your king. I'm not the leader here. Shishyasteham. I am your shishya. Believe me, when you look up towards that masterhood in life, there is blessing. There is grace. Unless until there is no inner relationship with this master, our life is full of trouble, full of kripana, full of feeble-mindedness. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yagnavalkya talks to his wife, Gargi, saying that a person who lives his entire life in this earth and is unable to recognize this imperishable God within him, he is the weakling, he is saying. He is Kripana, he is saying. See, it is not that easy that we are all have become a human. We have become, I understand that you all believe in this many lives principle. Yes, we do believe. We believe in karma, we also believe in many lives principle. Do you certainly think that you will be getting a human life again? We never know. That's the most difficult thing that to achieve. This is not my words. This is the... Am I audible? Yeah. These are the words of Adi Shankara. The most difficult thing to achieve, a human life. What we know is this life. In this life, we have got this beautiful opportunity, one of the hardest, one of the most impossible one. And this present moment is what we have got. Past and future is all mind. Is all mind. Don't you see? Only in the present moment there is reality. There is Sat, there is truth, there is self, there is Atman. So, when you know this opportunity that I've got is the best that I have to grab, why don't we surrender our ego and ask the Almighty to instruct, because we are all kripana, we are all feeble-minded. The biggest challenge that I see in people, of course, with this participant, he was very confident that he was feeble in his mind. But in many participants, in many people whom I have seen, the biggest challenge is that they don't believe that they are feeble-minded. They believe they are strong, they are intelligent, they are much more mature. There arises stupidity. Now, bring out Arjuna in you. That's my piece of advice. Arjuna knows of all the scholarship he has got in his intellect. Arjuna knows that his mind is getting fickle. And not getting sailed away with all the clouded thoughts. He gets that stability and he knows the right course of action. He says, Mam prapannam prapanna means I surrender unto you. I have become an instrument. You instruct, I do. I do not know what is right because what I see is most pleasant. I don't see the propolis. I see propolis as unpleasant. I see things in my life which are unpleasant and hence I avoid them. Hence, I am a kripana. Making ourselves to think that we are matured, we know ourselves, we know how to take charge of our life is the act of ego. Understanding ourselves that we are not able to take charge of our life, hence moving into the edge of sadness is an act of foolishness. Don't go to the extremes. Take the middle path. Knowing that the mind is feeble and fickle, surrendering ego, which makes you think that you're the most right, you're Mr. Perfect, and being an instrument is the best way to dissolve all the problems in life. Parohi yogaha manasaha samadhi. Shrimad Bhagavatam. Shrimad Bhagavatam is a scripture which talks about Krishna's stories, much later scripture. But eventually a great Vedantic scripture. It talks about the highest form of yoga. We think doing advanced yogasanas is highest yoga. No. Highest form of yoga is to obtain this peacefulness from within. And how is this obtained? Make yourself an instrument. Let He instruct Shreyas. Let the Almighty instruct Shreyas. And you be open to what He gives. Now, how is this possible? Before moving to that question, I suddenly realized that when I say surrender, there arises a misconception, a wrong belief in people's minds. So let me just clarify this word surrender. When I say surrender, it equals surrender of ego. So when I talk about ego surrender, people usually think in their back of their minds that it is sacrificing one's own pleasure for the life of XYZ considered to be the divine, the human society considered to be divine. It is not so. Ego surrender means not taking the doership, not taking into account the ownership of your actions. What happens when you think that I do? I have written this poem. I have to finish this particular piece of work. I have to take care of my family. What happens? Soon at a point, you get frustrated because the piece of work is not expectedly accomplished, or the piece of work is unaccomplished, right? Because expectations is at that particular level. And when we work, to perfection, we don't match to our expectation. So we start with beautiful, booming, boomed up energy, and then we end with hands on our cheeks. Oh my God, what have I done? No. Act of doership will never make you satisfied, will never make you contented. Why? Because this is the stupidity of our ego. You think I'm going to take care of the family? No, you're not. You think I'm going to take care of uh, the professional advancements? No, we are not. Hmm? So what is that we are doing? Why should we work then? You work as an instrument of divine. Because if we don't work, what happens if we get away from the battle, like Arjuna renounces and then runs away from the duties? What happens? You go, you stay in an ashram in Himalayas. We have already talked about it. And then think about, oh my God, my daughter, she does not know how to make a chai. You know, this happens. Again, we are mentally doing an action. So eventually, as a human, we are bound to act either by physical body or by mind or by our speech, vak shakti. Hence, Krishna says, if you're bound to act, you do your actions. The safe game is that the clue to that game, the cue to that game is this tug of war, We think that in the tug of war, we have to use our masculine power of biceps and triceps. No, it is just a tact. With one tact, you can pull even the strongest of the strongest candidates in the other end. Like that, every sport has tacts, Well, I know about them because I've been in this university for a long. So every sport for that matter, has tact as the basic skill, not strength. So here comes the tact that Krishna gives, and he knows it. Arjuna knows it from within. He's saying, tell me that which is unpleasant to me. I know it would be unpleasant, but it is going to be beneficial for me. Hence, I surrender. I'm not going to use my mind anymore. I'm not going to use my intellect anymore because it is bewildering me. It is pushing me to the edge. It is no longer making me stable. I'm becoming lunatic at a point. You instruct me. And the key is surrender. So act of doership. I'll come back to the point. Act of doership will never give you satiety. Hence, doership has to be renounced in ego surrender. It is not sacrificing your duties, sacrificing your pleasures. No. You can still go to a pub. You can still dance. You can still cry. You can still get angry. Okay. It's normal. But act of doership has to be renounced. The second cue of the game, of the sport, act of ownership. We think this particular woman, dark hair headed, PhD in yoga, mother of 2 kids, sister, wife, the teacher, the professor, is Lalita. This particular thing, the body, the name, the form, is my ownership. We go miles apart from this. The bodies that have been engaged from this particular body, like the kids, are supposed to be my assets. So that I can, fix my thoughts unto them and then make them as my progeny. Again, taking ownership of our own kids. We go miles, yards away. Huh? This particular person who I have shared my body with, he is mine. Again, ownership. So the ownership is like ghost. This ghostly attitude starts to expand to n number of elements, biotic, abiotic, living, non-living, dead, everything. Krishna says, stop being a ghost. Renounce this ownership attitude. You own nothing. You do nothing. My God, am I a papi? Am I the sinner? Which means, is God the one who is always kept up high? Is he the Mr. Perfect? Hence I have to surrender unto him? My goodness. No. He and you are one and the same. Let me give you an example. Okay. It is glass in your mirror. It is glass in your window pane. Right? With the window pane glass, you can see things outside. Right? But it is the glass in the mirror with which you see yourself for real. It's the same glass. There, you're always observing with an objectivity. You always see things, see objects outside. But it is a subjective vision when you see the glass in the mirror, right? It's the same glass. I want you to understand that we have always seen ourselves like seeing the glass of the window pane, like an object outside. This body, this name, this form, my kids, my assets, my car, my bungalow. What I want you to, not me, what Vedanta wants you to see yourself as, like the glass in the mirror. Subjectively see you yourself, and you will find the Almighty, He in you. The moment we identify ourselves as a third party, as an object, we are worried, we are frustrated, we get angry, we get deceived, we get insulted. The moment the frame changes from the glass window pane to the mirror, then you see the divine in you. How to change this glass? Prapanna. Surrender. Ego surrender. It is the ego that is making us visualize me as Lalita, me as a woman, me as an Indian, me as a mother. Okay, now this is more confusing. If I am not a woman, if I am not Lalita, if I am not mother, then why should I do the motherly duties? Why should I spread Indic wisdom? Why am I teaching? That's the difference between Swarupa and Swadharma. Swarupa is the essential nature. The essential nature is peace, is being himself, the Almighty. But we are lodged, this glass is lodged into that window pane. So it cannot crack open, right? It cannot crack open. It shouldn't. It has to lead its life with constant thoughts lodged in the grace of Almighty. You deliver your duties as mother, You deliver your duties as teacher. You deliver your duty as a warrior, Arjuna. That's what Krishna is going to say. You become the instrument and you deliver your duty. Simple. So there is no confusion. There used to be lecture sessions and meditation sessions with Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi in the Ramanashram in Tiruvannamalai, where devotees used to come and sit fast together in the Skandashramam caves, in his own ashrama, meditate, be in that self, identifying, non-identifying oneself from the others, from untrue things. There used to be a sect of women also who come to ashrama. It's a practice that all widowers take their life as an opportunity, as an advantage to spiritually progress. So they come down to ashramas. And since they are women, they are most likely happy to work in the kitchens. Okay. So they work for all those, they make food for all those devotees of the ashrama, millions and millions of, even now, outside Ramanashrama, you will find people serving with food. Whoever comes, all 24 hours, whomever comes, the food is served. So Bhagavan Ramana goes to the kitchen. In the pretext of helping these women in cooking. He makes sambar, he makes rice. Remember sambar and rice, Aurelia? Yona and Uli also had, Luchi also had, yes. So he used to help. And in the cooking process, amidst all those smoke and then fire, the wooden logs, huge vessels, all these women are enjoying the presence of peace, that samadhi. He instructs samadhi in the kitchen. My point here is there is no such a thing that confinement of place. When we are quiet, we have to meditate. When we have to meditate, it has to be clean. When we have to meditate, there has to be time. No, there is no such a thing. Ramana emphasizes the whole life is a process of meditation. What is meditation? Closing your eyes and visualizing the waterfalls of Niagara? No. No. That is visualization, my dear. That even a psychotherapist can do. What is meditation? Delving deep into that state of peace amidst all adverse situations. Even Swamiji says, Swami Vivekananda, he who meditates amidst traffic is the best meditator. So the whole life is an opportunity. Why? Because there are troubles, there are sugary things, there are attractive things, there is shreyas, there is prayers. There's too many opportunities that we have got. The point is how unstaggered, strongly, with full focus, we live our life. We tend to place our heart in His grace and hands in the swadharma, in the actions that we have to do. I couldn't finish much more, but can I take 10-15 more minutes and then take the questions? I'll take 10 more minutes and then I'll finish the shloka. So karpanya, kripana, the mind is always feeble. Why? Because antakarana, ahankara, among the four antakaranas, four ingredients of mind, is super duper valiant, super duper powerful. It will not make you at one point of time understand that you are him, you are he. Hence, the feeble-minded, the fickle-minded will always tell, your body has trouble, your body has some faults, your mind has some faults, your actions were faulty, your decisions were unproductive, all such things, all such nonsense. At these adverse situations, you bring out Arjuna in you. He knows that the mind is feeble. Don't get wavered with, just like going with the waves. Don't go with the waves of the mind and get depressed. Never do that. We are all strong human beings. Hmm? Ions of veins of steel and blood of iron. Something like that, Swamiji says. We're all very strong. Obtain, acquire that strength. Find that objectivity. And then see, okay, my mind is fickle. The mind is super racing. Now, what I have to do? Shadi. Let Almighty decide your present. Just be open by surrendering your ego. Do not do your calculations. When you calculate, you think you have taken charge of your life. You have done that numerous point of time. Did it act? Did it work? It didn't. It worked in a mysteriously terrible manner, in a highly terrible manner, miserable manner. Don't take charge of your life. Don't have your calculations. Flow. Just flow with the life by being open to the grace and surrendering your ego. There, you will know what is right, though unpleasant. There, you will know what is your swadharma, what is your way of course of action that you have to do. That will not make you feel terrible, that will not make any harm to the society at large. That is swadharma. Sometimes what happens, we take decisions, we take actions, which is very, very beneficial to us, but not to one person around us. Is that good? No. It is praise. It is the ice cream, ingestata that I ate in Sibiu. It seems to be attractive. But only propolis is Shreyas, though bitter, though unpleasant. So lead the life where you know the distinction between Shreyas and Preyas. You do the right course of action, Swadharma, by surrendering your ego. There. I did the full explanation, I hope so. Any questions? Let me stop the recording and then take your questions.